All right, so I'm going to show you what you should be looking for with the 150 code lookup. This is something you should be checking every morning to see if it's been used. So go ahead and go to inventory. Make sure you're on your location. It should default to that already. I'm going to go ahead and select university. And in your item lookup, type in 150. And right here in your store on hand quantity, you can see it's a -1. So it has been used since last time we checked this. You always want to make sure this is a 0. So anytime you see it's not a 0, we'll need to check it out. So go over here on your right to history. Anytime you click on history on any item, it's going to default to your sales. This is all of your transactions. And it's going to be kind of just in random order. So we want to sort these to see the most recent. So go ahead and click your create date. This will sort it from oldest to newest, so you're going to have to click it one more time. And this might take a second because there's a lot of transactions with this code. Okay, so this is the last time it was used. Used at university. There's your receipt number, the cashier, and your date and time. And you're probably going to want to write down your date and time because eventually you're going to want to check this out on your cameras, make sure it was the correct item sold and everything's legitimate. So once you found the correct transaction, the latest one, go to your go to document tab over here. And this will take you straight to the transaction. This is where it was used. And once again, you got your date and time, receipt, cashier, your transaction note. So all we have here is honoring price for Coastal Cloud CBD Tropical, which that doesn't really tell us enough. It doesn't really say, what the price tag said. Did it have the correct item number on it? Did it have the correct tag? Was it, was the price wrong and she's honoring it at this $14.99 price? So yeah, that's just not enough information. And also another thing I noticed was there's a 10% off discount also on this item. And there's also no reasons down here for that. Anytime you use a discount, you definitely want a reason, and promo is not really a reason. So there should be a good enough reason to give 10% off. So now that we kind of know what the item is, at least, let's go check it out in inventory, see what Retail Pro says the price is, and we can move on from there. So to get out, just hit this little shopping bag in the top right and hit OK to get out of your history. And then search for that CBD Coastal Cloud product. So anytime I search, I usually try to filter it by a description, a vendor code, something besides only the description one. And that's just so you can narrow it down, make sure you are finding the correct item. If the employee wasn't sure about a price, this is absolutely the first thing they should have done was try to find the item in inventory. And it kind of tells me that they didn't take the time to do that. So CB was the department, and coastal or tropical, whatever you want to type in here, just keep it as simple as possible for your description. And there it is, tropical lemonade, which we can see Retail Pro says we should be selling it at $29.99. So was it tagged wrong? Was it ringing up under one of these two items possibly? It's not supposed to be on closeout, so that employee has sold this item at $14.99 and gave 10% off. So we actually lost money on this transaction. And that's that's something we got to discuss with the managers and make sure they're using the 150 code for a good enough reason, and they did their due diligence to find out to make sure it was a good reason to use the 150 code. They shouldn't just be throwing it out there because they didn't take the time to find an item in inventory. All right. So now we need to do an adjustment. After you've checked your cameras, made sure this was actually the item that was sold. You also want to go out on the floor, check this item, and if it were me, I would probably check these other two items and make sure they all got tagged properly. It's a possibility that this item also got tagged at $14.99, so that's something you're going to have to check. Make sure all of these items got tagged properly. So once all that's done, you want to do your adjustment. Right now it says you have 3, you only have 2 because this item was sold. And you also want to zero out your 150 code. So go to your adjustments, create a new one, and the 150 code and the product that was sold should always be on the same adjustment memo. So it's just easier to reference everything together. So first you go ahead and zero out your 150 code. And let's go find that item again. Oops, and we're gonna have to take one of these out. So you really just have 2 of them. And I noticed today, just a side note, that a negative list was sent out. And somebody did make this miscellaneous 150 code a 0 today. And they did not check the history of it to see why it was used or what item should have been taken out. So this Coastal Cloud Tropical Lemonade was never taken out today, but this 150 code was zeroed. So, that's something we need to address anyway. Down here, 150 code was used. Item sold. A simple note like that, just so when we're scrolling through the adjustments, we can kind of see that this adjustment was to fix a 150 code. All right, and then you're going to go ahead and update that. I'm not going to go ahead and update it now because I want to, talk to university about this tomorrow. But I thought this was a good example of stuff you should look for, kind of like the red flags. What kind of notes they should be putting in the transaction. It can't be as vague as just saying, I'm honoring a price. We don't know why you're honoring the price. We don't know if the item was tagged wrong or whatnot. So it could be something that the warehouse needs to take care of. It could be a deactive item that they couldn't find in inventory. There's a few reasons, but the manager should have at least looked in inventory to try to find out if the item is in inventory and what the correct price is. So, yeah, let me know if you have any questions.